Connie Willis, the podcast. Taking you into new ways of thinking, even providing answers to questions you've often pondered. Connie Willis, the podcast. This is a Connie Willis exclusive. Whistleblower. What you're about to hear has never been heard anywhere else. This is Connie Willis, the podcast.
Connie Willis back with the private military, government contractor, and U.S. Navy Special Warfare veteran. Robert Treat is with us discussing his life, his background, and what he sees for the future and what he has learned along the way that he's going to tell us about. Whistleblower, informant, these are the names that a lot of people will tag on to him. It's Robert Treat, as well as deathbed confession. However, he's got a chance to make it through. Go to the GoFundMe that is in the description. Take a look, see where you can help.
Informant.
Is this United Nations or the group that you're a part of at this time? Are they the one? Aren't they above the United Nations?
Oh yeah, they're
the top of the top. They're the elite of all.
yeah. When your companies and your industries control every resource, employ every human, they don't really think they're doing anything wrong. They see us as a resource to be managed, like the same way, if a few 100 million people have to die, it's no different to us than, culling a few buffalo because the herd got too big. So when they talk about depopulation, it's just culling the herd. It's just thinning the numbers because, the pressure on their resources, and their companies is getting too great, right? They can't fill the demand, so they're going to have to cull the herd. So they know that the herd is going to get too big very soon. Populations grow exponentially. We're at 8 billion, and we're going to be at 10 and 14 and 20. They're going to cull us off. And, the most ideal way to do that is to be able to cull them genetically, pre-program who's going to live and who's going to die, how long your lifespan is going to be.
So what are they determining, and how are they going to do it? And I mean, it's all a thinning out of the herd. Like people go and hunt the deer up in the mountainside. We got to thin out the herd.
Well, you can modify people's behavior. You can even modify their physique, their bodies through chemistry, through pills, through pharmaceuticals, through whatever these ingredients are in your food. Look at the labels on your food. You can't pronounce half that stuff, and even if you can, you don't know what it is.
And we still eat it.
Or what it does, but it tastes good.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know what that's doing.
No.
What it's doing is it's temporarily programming you. So as long as you take it, as long as you consume it, the programming takes effect. Now, through the research of retroviruses, you can lock in these physiological and psychological changes, right? And this is where it gets so dirty and so dark. This is where I walked away. Was the way you lock in these temporary changes caused by chemistry is you use a virus. In order for that virus to work, you need stem cells. In order to get stem cells, you need an abortion industry.
Ooh.
You see? It's bad.
This is a Connie Willis exclusive on Connie Willis, the podcast.
Now, why these changes? Why turn us into those creatures, right? Is because we're going to be used as cannon fodder in, the big fight version 2, when the Fallen and the Primarchs go at it again. Because the Primarchs aren't going to let us ever become a spacefaring race with our propensities.
Why do we have
And
to go through a second thing? Why can't they just, they could, it seems like to me they could just stop that.
uh, well, they're going to stop that by killing us off. So not only are the fallen going to kill us off, the Primarchs are too.
The good guys
Yes.
are going to kill us off.
Yes.
So we're eventually, whether it's the good or the bad, human race is going out.
Yeah, but the Primarchs aren't going to kill all of us. The ones that are, they deem worthy to be saved will be saved, and the rest will be destroyed.
And I feel like from what I've learned, my research has told me that the people that are taken are the ones that are going to be saved. Because they've done all this research on them. It's like keeping,
Possibly, I hope. I'm not going to
I mean, do
be
you have any
arrogant.
thought of that? It's not being arrogant. It's, hey, you've been our project for a long time. We're not going to get rid of you. We've
Well,
been
I'm
studying you for a while.
I'm going somewhere else.
You're going to take the blue pearl, and you're going beyond the blue pearl.
Well, I'm going to say this, and like I've said so many times, I was reluctant to say it because of how it sounds.
Okay.
But I the Greys, the Primarch that I spent time with, and I spent a lot of time with them, a very extended period of time, about 3 months. It seems like no time had passed here, but I was there a long time. Is that I am a hybrid. I'm just not one of their hybrids.
Mm-hmm.
So that my spirit, what we call the soul, the thing that the me that inhabits the vessel, is from a different race, and I still communicate with one of my own kind. I guess what you could say telepathically, or it's very interesting how it started and how we still communicate. And it began when I was 9 years old, when I developed a fear of dying in my sleep. That's when she came to me for the first time, and many people just call them the Plagiarians or the Pleiadians. But the drawings, the sketches of that people have drawn of, that's accurate. That's what they look like. And I remember the first time she came to me when I was 9 years old. It was very scary at first because I didn't understand what was going on. It was like a peeling away of my mind, and I used to fall asleep in like the coffin position because I was afraid of rigor mortis. My dad had told me that they have to break your bones to get you in the coffin, so I would sleep in the coffin position just in case I died.
What's the coffin position?
With your arms crossed over your shoulders like you're laying in the coffin.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
if I died in my sleep, they would just be able to put me straight into the coffin. That was what I thought as a kid.
Mm-hmm. So you'd find yourself waking up to that and then going to sleep to that?
Yeah, so I'd fall asleep like that, and one night I was, and I would cry at night. I was afraid of the dark. My parents would lock me in the room, and they wouldn't let me have a night light or anything. It was just dark, and they knew I was scared. I would be in there. I would scream. I would cry, and I'd just lay in the dark and wait to die. I was just terrified. And one night I'm laying there, just in my bed. I feel like I'm breathing bleach fumes, like Clorox fumes. It's real thick. I'm practically choking, and it felt like reality just fell away. Like the walls of the room just rushed outward, just like boom, and I was in this place that there were just dozens and dozens of silver columns that, well, I couldn't see the top. They were just, but they weren't a shiny silver. It was like a dull silver. And the floor was green, like a dark, dark green. And that's when I met her the first time. She came walking towards me. And it was like I'd known her for 1,000 lifetimes. Right? And, that's, I refer to her as my guide, but that's not what she is. And that's when she first told me that that I'm from where she's from, and that we spent hundreds of years together before I chose to come here. And I was like, I chose this? And she said, yes, you chose this. You decided to do this. This is what you wanted to do. And I said, this is terrible. And she told me that things didn't work out quite as we predicted. So whatever I came here for, whatever it was I volunteered to do, something went wrong. Something went wrong, and I wasn't able to do or be or fulfill whatever it was I was supposed to do.
So so that's going back to the answer of where you're going.
I'll return when this vessel dies. I'll return back to her. But it also kind of explains why I felt so at home with the Primarchs, with the Greys. Mm-hmm. Is if my spirit's not human, and I feel human, like I feel completely just like everybody else. Like, I don't feel like a hybrid. And maybe that's why I feel more of an affinity for the Greys than I do for my own alleged kind.
Except the disgruntled ones, the fallen ones.
Yes. So anyway, I'm working for these people, and I'm hanging out in their environment and hearing their conversations and these terrible things.
The actual Rockefellers, the actual, you're with them, same rooms.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and that's just the famous, the well-known ones. But there's others, business leaders. Everybody who becomes a mega player gets a seat at the table.
Who was surprising to you to see?
Oh. I mean, nobody from pop culture. Seeing a lot of people from the insurance industry was surprising. The one real shocker for me was, who was kind of in charge. Here's the Pope.
Informant. What you just heard has never been heard anywhere else. This is Connie Willis, the podcast. Informant. Learn more about Connie, her guests, and be sure to join her private membership shows, Blue Rock Talk and Connie After Dark, at ConnieWillis.com. Whistleblower.